If you haul one load for money across state lines without this, the DOT doesn't call it a mistake. They call it illegal. Hey y'all, I'm the Hotshot Doc, real life doctor, real life hotshot carrier, coming to you live from North Alabama. Welcome back to my compliance clinic where we break DOT officer hearts by preventing easy fines. I make these DOT rules plainer than a brown paper bag so you don't learn them the hard way on the side of the road or with a fine. Today we're talking MC numbers, also called your operating authority, what it is, who needs it, and why you cannot skip this step. This is where everybody's stress levels, your cortisol just went up a little bit. I could feel it over the airwaves here. So what is an MC number? An MC number is operating authority issued by the FMCSA. And about that stress, guys, we're going to keep it simple. We're going to keep it low stress. This isn't difficult. Lots of people have figured it out. You just got to know where the links are and what little boxes to check. And that's what makes it stressful. So an MC number is your authority issued by the FMCSA. It allows you to haul regulated freight across state lines for pay or for compensation. This is not the same as a US DOT number. We went over that in my last video. The US DOT number is safety tracking. The MC number is legal permission to haul freight for hire interstate. Most for-hire hotshot drivers need both. Most carrier hotshot drivers need both, and I'm going to differentiate that a little bit later in the video. I'll also say as a disclaimer, y'all, I am not any kind of compliance or consulting agent. I'm just somebody that's learned this the hard way from the ground up. I try to save you a headache if I can and get you going in the right direction. Always check with your legal people if you feel like you need to. I will also say that MC numbers in 2026 are up in the air. They're being modified and changed, and nobody knows where it's going to land yet. So for now and for the foreseeable future, when I've talked to different brokers and different carriers, we're just going to keep doing things the way they've been done until a definable plan is put into step. At that point, I'll make a follow-up video as it needs to be altered. But for right now, this is how the industry is operating. So who needs operating authority? You need an MC number if you are a for-hire carrier, emphasis on carrier, you're hauling property or passengers, and you're in interstate commerce. So this includes most hotshot drivers hauling brokered freight and anyone paid to move cargo across state lines. So who does not need it? You usually do not need operating authority if you're a private carrier, so you're doing your own goods. You operate strictly interstate, or you haul exempt commodities like certain unprocessed agricultural products. So if you're a hay farmer, you don't need to worry about all this. So here's the real world truth about this number. Even if you technically qualify for one of these exemptions, but you're wanting to be hired to move freight, brokers and shippers are going to require an active MC number. So practically speaking, most hotshot carriers get one. And I want to check in with that in just a second. So if you're for hire, crossing state lines, running loads from brokers, you need that operating authority. Running without it is not a warning level issue. It's fines, out of service orders, shutdowns, and towaways. So there's no point in trying to be illegal. This is one of the foundational things that they are looking for when they pull you over. And they can do it by running your plates. So you've got no hope there. I want to put an asterisk beside all hotshot needs it. So that's sort of a misspoken statement. You need these numbers if you want to be a carrier. If you want to own the company and therefore take on the risk, these are the things you need to do. If you don't want the risk, you don't want to be a company owner, you just want to be either a company driver, a leased on driver, so like a W-2 or a 1099, or you just want to drive your own truck on the weekends so you don't want to deal with all of this crazy compliance stuff, you don't need to go out and purchase an MC number. You're going to be wasting a lot of money there. When you lease on with a company, you go underneath their authority. You are then representing that company under their authority. That's why the company's taken on so much risk. They get blowback, quite literal blowback, financial and otherwise, based on your safety and your driving. So keep that in mind. We get a lot of drivers that'll reach out and say, hey, I have my MC number, and I'm ready to lease on and drive. They've just gotten mixed up because they see all of these checklists that you have to be compliant. You have to have these if you want to be the big boss, if you want to start your company. You don't need all of this if you just want to drive. The company, the carrier, will provide all of this for you. Basically, I'll shut it down there for right now. I will go back and make a specific video of what savvy leased-on drivers need and what to look for in a reliable carrier, because you want one that's going to provide lots of loads and be compliant as they can be reasonably. This stuff is so complicated. You could be uncompliant and not even realize it half the time. So you want people who are doing their darndest, know what they're doing, and keep your driving record safe as the driver from that point of view. But as the carrier, this is all the stuff we have to do to keep the company afloat, to keep trucks on the road and to move freight. But you don't need it if you're just looking to be a driver. Some people, there are some exceptions to that rule. Some people get their MC because they eventually want to be the carrier. They want the company. Those first 6 months, it's darned impossible these days to get a load. It really is. You can do it. It's hard work, and you're not guaranteed to make a profit at all. In fact, I'll almost guarantee you're going to lose money that whole first year in trucking. It's just the way it is. They don't want to play with new guys. They want reliable, established authorities, which is what makes the industry and the flip-flop that's happening right now with all the bankruptcies so absolutely wild. So some drivers will say, hey, I'm looking to let my authority age. That just means they are not qualifying for enough loads to meet their overhead or to continue living their lifestyle and keep their equipment and their MC number alive, because it's tied to your insurance. So the MC isn't that expensive, it's the insurance that kills you. So a lot of people will lease on for the first year or two of them having this MC number and insurance policy, and they'll let it age until they can get a lot of good loads by being an older company. And some people like me are just crazy and duke it out the old-fashioned way. Alright, moving on from that. Keep an eye out for that separate video where I explain it a little bit more. So you have to have a DOT number first. You have to have that US DOT before you can apply for an MC number. The good thing is DOT numbers are free and they're almost immediate. New registrations are done through the FMCSA Unified Registration System, or URS. I will put that link here. Check out my previous video on US DOT numbers. It's free, it's quick. Gotta have it first. Great. So we got our DOT number. What's next? Applying for your operating authority. So we're applying for our MC number as a second step. Once you have your DOT number, you apply for authority through the same FMCSA portal. Again, here is the portal link. Most Hotshot drivers select motor carrier of property except household goods. So how you fill this application out means a lot at the end on what you can and cannot do. Get help if you need it. Reach out to some compliance, a legal, somebody who can tell you. Ask your insurance agent what's the best thing for what my goals are. But you also got to know what your goals are for your company. The application fee for your MC number is $300. It is non-refundable, so that's why you want to triple check first what you're doing, because choosing the wrong authority will cost you very real money and time. Slow down, double check it. Authority is not immediate, and this is where the debt starts. This is where people mess up. They think because they get the DOT number today in 10 minutes that you can get your authority in the same amount. Wrong. When you apply, you do not get your authority immediately. You cannot legally haul for hire interstate until you have that number. Right? So it's typically a 20 to 25 day business day processing window. So only Monday through Friday, 9 to 5, and they take a lunch break. Public notice and review window, which is part of these federal regulations. They have to notify the public. So turnaround time for your MC number to be active is usually 4 to 6 weeks. You can bet on it being a minimum of 30 days. If someone tells you they can make it instant, they are absolutely lying. That is 100% a scam. Don't listen to them. There are people who you can hire to help you fill out all of this paperwork. Those third-party companies will help you jump through some of the legal hoops, sort of like what I'm trying to do here, because it's a lot of hoops. If you don't click the right button, it's sort of like having to restart every single time. So it takes 4 to 6 weeks to get active, and then once you do have your approval for authority, you've got to get your insurance active. And so that's where you get hit with those big bills off the bat after you've just sat around on your thumbs for a month waiting for the government to decide you can drive a truck. So, what must you file to activate authority? 2 things must be on file for your MC to go active. You need your insurance, like I just said. It's got to be filed electronically by your insurance company. We went into more details about this on my COI video, your commercial insurance video, and how important it is to have an agent you can work with and what the form is called that they're filing that activates your authority. I'm not an insurance agent, but we should all have a general surface level knowledge of this stuff so that you're not getting taken for a ride by anybody. So you got to have your insurance. It's filed electronically. Minimum for most hotshot carriers is a $750,000 liability. That's federal. Again, in that video I'll go over it. Most brokers are going to want you to have $1 million, and that's just liability. Cargo is a separate issue. Go watch that insurance video. I spent 10 minutes on it. BOC3 is a process agent, so this is another one people get mixed up on. This designates, what is a BOC3? It designates legal representatives in every state. You usually have to hire a blanket process agent, pay around $5,200, and they file electronically. Without a BOC3, your authority will not activate. And I think this is because truckers spend so much time on the road, you didn't know if you were getting important legal mail. You needed someone who could act in a legal manner on your behalf, and that's what this is. And they sort of notify you if important documents are coming through. And that's exactly what I said in the next session. If someone sues you or serves legal papers, you actually receive notice because this person does it on your behalf. It protects due process and protects you from missing court documents while you're on the road. So no BOC3, no authority. So once your authority goes active, you enter the new Entrance Safety Assurance Program. You can be audited and will be audited by your state within 12 to 18 months. For ours, when we first got going, it took I think it's between 6 and 8 months. They were running behind. And it wasn't bad. It was all online. You had to go in, you had to supply them with the documents, which if you are following my videos and you've got my packet with my checklist, everything and more was on there. The guy was giddy. He was like, I don't meet the officer that was inspecting our company. I don't meet many new companies who only have like one little issue, and it was a click of a button, a misunderstanding about a pre-employment drug test. So it was an easy fix. It wasn't anything he cost us points or fined us for. He was like, this is a confusing topic, I understand that, here's how you fix it, and don't let it happen again. And that was it. Now if he had found some more significant things, because in the state I'm in Alabama, it starts as an electronic audit. If you can't pass the electronic audit, or you're throwing red flags, or you're just generally being an unreasonable person, they're going to show up at your terminal and they're going to want to inspect in person everything. So do it right electronically, and most of the time they understand you're doing your best to be compliant and they'll help you. A lot of people don't want paperwork, so they want you to be as compliant as you can be, as any of us can be, without having memorized this stupid rule book, right? So keep that in mind. They'll give you tickets on the roadside, but the people in charge don't like paperwork, so roll with it. Do your best. Once your authority goes active, you enter that new entrant program. Within 12 to 8 months, you're going to be audited. During this time, you must maintain your insurance compliant files and biennial updates, which is that MCS 150 update if you have more or less drivers, or you change what you're hauling, or whatever. Change your equipment, all that good stuff. So this is when compliance really starts, and they really dig deep into your company that first year. So, display requirements on the truck. We sort of went over this in the DOT video. I'll reiterate it here. You've got to have your DOT number and your MC number on both sides of the truck. It has to be 2 inches tall at least, and it has to be in a contrasting color from the background. It must be legible from 50 feet away. So if you have a black truck, you've got to use white letters, and if you have a darker colored truck, you need to have white or really light gray letters, something like that. They've got to be big, and don't forget to spell out USDOT and MC. You can use the hashtags for numbers, but you've got to have those actual letters on there, or they'll fine you for missing the letters. Yep. So here's a little bonus pro tip for you. Permanent markings are for commercial use only. So this is talking about the types of identifiers that you can use on both sides of the truck. So if you're using stickers, this is now a commercial vehicle. Treat it as such. If you don't, you'll need to carry bobtail insurance is basically what I'm getting at. That insurance for when you're not officially hauling freight, or you're deadheading, or you're using the vehicle for personal conveyance, personal use. Bobtail insurance is an add-on to your commercial insurance policy. Legally, you need it to be covered in case something happens during that time, an accident, whatever. This is why you'll see a lot of single owner operator setups, or very small motor carriers, leased on drivers. They use non-permanent markings, meaning window markers. They draw it on a piece of paper, something sketchy looking like that. That's because half the time they're using that vehicle for personal use, and they don't want to pay the extra for bobtail insurance, which is significant. Best practice is to have a separate vehicle for business use. Keep everything separate if you can. I understand not all of us are made of money. I don't have whoever that rich granddad duck was that I can't remember the name of at the moment. We are not swimming in billions of gold bullion. I understand this. So some people, until they can get their feet underneath them, they use their personal truck for hauling, and they have a personal auto insurance and a commercial insurance policy to save money. It's not the thing to do, but it does happen a lot. I'll leave it at that. You got to make your decisions based on your finances and what's happening in your world on a real level. All right. So what do I actually keep in the truck with this? Pretty simple. I personally send my drivers out with a printed copy of the USDOT and MC number certificate. The FMCSA sends you a little letter. It's got a blue thing at the top, little blue signal. I copied that, put it in my database, and we print out copies and send it to our drivers whenever they hit the road. I also send them with a digital backup. I like both. I also printed a copy of my active authority status from the portal, where it lists out what we carry and stuff like that. It shows the insurance on file, etc. Is that step required? No. But I like the officers, when they're looking through this initial file, when they pull you over for an inspection or you pulled into a weigh station, I like them to see that I know we need these things to be compliant, and I give them a little bit more up front, and they usually don't dig so deep into a lot of the things that people miss. Has having this operating authority page saved us from tickets because state databases can be wrong? Absolutely. 100%. Half the time you go in, you update something, you send something in, and the person on the other end, or the computer on the other end, didn't update the file. So your guys get pulled over because on the police database, whatever system they're using to look things up, it flags you as being inactive or unpaid or a different category of goods or whatever, because whatever, the MCS 150 hasn't updated, or you didn't file your IFTAs correctly. I don't know. Having printouts and having digital backups has saved us. Also, train your drivers that if there is an issue, we're not being sketchy. Tell them to get you on the phone, and you have your login saved on your device. You log in, and you can send them an up-to-date screenshot to show the officer that, hey, this isn't my fault. My state's being funky. Don't find me. Most of the time, they're pretty understanding. I'll say some of the time they're pretty understanding. Having a document, having something that proves that you know what you're doing beats arguing on the shoulder of the road while the wind's blowing around you and cars are going a million miles an hour and everybody's stressed out. Backups on backups, as they say. So, our final warning and wrap up. Operating authority is not optional. It is the one that causes everybody's stress levels to go up. You cannot haul for-hire interstate without it. No authority means fines, out-of-service orders, and a bad start to your DOT record. Because again, it's all tracked under your name, under these DOT numbers, under these MC numbers. Do it once. Do it right. Wait until it's active to start driving. And that will save you a lot of heartache in the long run. So we're going to wrap it up for today on MC numbers. Y'all check out my packet on Gumroad. It has all of the checklist, fillable forms, links, plain English description of what you need to do your darndest to avoid getting those out of services and fines and tickets. If they're going to give you a ticket, I'd rather it be for something that you could not have prevented. Let it be for something stupid, not paperwork that could have been signed and printed out and put in the folder. If this helped y'all, if you liked it, if you like the way I'm doing things, like, subscribe, share it with your friends who don't know what they're doing and talking out the side of the neck, as they used to say. Check out that packet on Gumroad. And my next video, we're going to be talking about UCR registration and what that means. So roll tide and roll on, y'all.